Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce Semantics video session 92. So in today's video, I will give you an introduction to multiple row formula, the one which we have on recipe, and how can we use various functions under the multiple row formula. Okay. So first of all, let's understand what I'm talking about. So basically multiple row formula is nothing but whatever we have done on the compute relative node, right? And I think you already know by now that in compute relative node, you can do the calculation across the node. The same thing we can do on recipe, but via multiple row formula. And of course, the syntax will be a bit different. The functions are different, just like we saw during our compute expression sessions as well. Okay, so I will just walk you through how we can map that under recipe, how we can map the expressions in recipe. So under this manage data flow, if you go to data flow, we were doing this part, that is free session 8. So for now, let's consider this example. Okay, the meter reading data, fine, which we were doing. So what I'm going to do is in recipe we have free session 11, so let us create free session 12. Okay, so firstly I will take the reference of this one, that is free session 8. At first we took the meter reading data set. So here what I will do, I will just go for add input data, and under the filter I will just select the data set, because I just need that data set. And what I will do is here I will search with meter. Okay, and let's see what are the things which comes up. So I need this meter reading data. Transformation is nothing but the data set which I got via the data flow. Okay, but I need that original data, which is the meter reading data, and that is what you see over here as well. Okay, meter reading data, the data set name. Okay, so here let me select that, and I think there are only 3 fields. What happened? Okay, next. Yeah, I think it didn't show up. Yeah, there are 3 fields, which is cool. Now, the next part is, as you can see here, we have created this expression called start date and count. Okay, so we will go for this multiple row formula, and how we go into there. So you go to the transform node. Okay, so under transform node, when you select it, and let me expand this a bit. Yeah, what happened? Yeah, under transform node, basically, when you expand this, so you have this function called custom formula. Okay, now you see this toggle, right? That is multiple row formula. You just enable this toggle. So when you enable this toggle, basically what happens, automatically the recipe knows that you have to do calculation across the rows, and that's what it will be doing. Okay, now coming back over here, what we did, basically we had partition by device code, order by date in ascending, and the same thing we will do. That won't be much of an issue. So you will partition by device code. Okay, you will order by date, and it's in descending. That's completely fine. Okay, the first thing which we created is start date. Okay, so let me just copy this same expression over here. So what I will do, I will just write over here start date. Okay, and same here as well, start date. Fine, and I will select this as date time, because that is date time, and the format I need is in this format itself, that is DD MM YYY format. Okay, and here now, if you see here, basically under compute relative node, what we used to do, we used to take the source field of date. Okay, now right now over here, we have a different way to write. Okay, so what I will do is, we need to take the first of date, that is the first row of date. So you have to utilize these functions over here. Okay, there's no point and click. So there's a function called as first value. Fine, so we will just take that part. So under this field, we will map the date. Okay, this date which you got. And now, because this is actually this functions gives in string, but because we have put the data type as date time, we have to convert this into date, because this whole expression will give you the value in string. Okay, so for that, what we are going to do is, there's a function which you already learned in our earlier session, that is to underscore timestamp. And the thing is that here I will just put the first value. Okay, give me a moment, I think I made something. Okay, yeah, so to underscore timestamp. So let me just physically write over here. Fine, to underscore timestamp. Okay, so now let's click on apply. So as you can see, basically we got the first date, right? And that is something which we already did on the data flow. You can as well revise that data flow portion if you need, but basically the results are same, so I won't waste much time in explaining you the complete result because those things I've already explained you on the data flow part. Okay, so watch that session where I've went through this metered in data transformation, and then you can watch this recipe as well, because here I won't explain you much on the functional side of that Excel sheet. Okay, fine. Moving ahead, the next part is count of readings. So here, if you see, there's a count of readings which we are doing, and what we did is, like, if the previous count of reading is null, then we are putting one. So if you remember, so let's say if I very quickly open my meter reading original data. So this was the Excel sheet which we had, right? So firstly, let's say I copy this part in my second Excel sheet, and let's say very quickly I put the filter over here. Okay, so let's say I put the filter, and let's say I take the first device code, and let me just copy this very quickly. Cool. And let me take the second one as well. And here I go. I will copy this very quickly over here. Fine. And what we did, so this is basically already sorted out. So that's what we did, right? I mean, if you look at the recipe, basically the sorting has to be done in ascending order. So that's what is already done over here. And this one, we will quickly just do this part in ascending order. So let me go for this oldest to newest. Okay, let me click on sort, and this also got sorted. And as you can see, that is the first value, that is the start date. Okay, the start date is nothing but this particular value, right? So it will be here, it will be here as well. Okay, and this part will just continue, right? And similarly, this part also will be here, it will be here, and this whole row will have this date value. Right now, if you remember, what was the function which we used? So this was the function which we used on our data flow, right? So let's say copy it one of, yeah, here itself. Okay, and let's say expand, sorry, I expand this a bit, and hopefully I can just wrap the text. Okay, so it's saying case when previous count of reading is null, which means here it is already null. So let's say I put it as count of readings. Okay, so here it's saying that my previous count of reading, if it is null, then you put one. Okay, else if my previous count of reading, so this is the previous count of it is already more than zero, then previous count of reading plus one, which means that this is how it's going, right? And again, when it breaks up over here, this is how it will go. Okay, so basically I am just adding one number after the another from one. That's what I'm doing at the end of the day, right? So one, two, because this will just give me the count of readings. I hope you got my point. Now for that part, what we have to do in recipe, we don't have to utilize so much of things. So in recipe, what we can do is, like here again, if I go to custom formula, okay, so there's a function called as row number, which automatically does that. Why it's not coming here? Okay, I think let me just try over here. Yeah, just give me a moment. So if I take the start date and if I go for custom formula, okay, fine, we will check. But there's a function I remembered which we had, something called row formula, and what I will give is I will just give the count of readings. Okay. Okay, I think now I got it. Basically, I have to again enable this. Okay, so it's a multiple row formula. That's then only the row number will come. Okay, so now I can search with row number. Yeah, this is the formula I was talking about. So you have to ensure some of the functions are only available when you enable this multiple row formula. Otherwise, you won't get that. Okay, so remember that because it was not enabled, that's why I was not getting that function row number. Okay, but anyways, here basically it will be count of readings once again, and here it will be again count of readings. What happened? Yeah. Okay. Here it is fine. Okay, let me put this once again. Okay, 100. Okay. So yeah, I got this row number and partition by, of course, it will be the same thing in device code. Keep editing order by its date, and it's in ascending order. Okay, and the output type will be, of course, in sorry, number. Okay, it will be number because I'm getting the numbers. Okay, now if I click on apply, So as you can see very well over here, I got the start date, which is matching, which we did earlier as well. I think that just now you see, and we are properly getting the count of rows by just giving this function row number. Okay. Now coming to the next part. So in the next part, what we did. So this part is over. Okay. Start of, I can just give this as start of date and count. Maybe I can give the node name as well. The same thing. Okay. So that's it. And now again, I will go for the next transform node. So if I go to my data flow once again, this is the next transform node, which is ended. And let's say I put that ended over here. So here, if you see it's device code date in descending order. So again, what I'm going to do is I will just go to this custom formula. I will enable this. Okay. So it's the same thing once again, which is partition by device code. Okay. Order by date, and it's in descending order. Fine. And what is the first expression I have? The end date is nothing but, again, I'm just calculating the first date, right? So again, I will use that particular function, which is the first value. Okay. So as you can see here, if I just put this first value, and the field name will be, of course, date. Okay. Date. Fine. And of course, this will be again in date time. And I will just put the appropriate format, which is dd-mm. So you have this format readily available. Okay. So device code formula, and let me click on apply. So, okay, sorry, this won't be device code formula. This will be ended. Okay. So yeah, let me just copy this field from here. That is ended. Fine. So this is what the ended is all about. And now let me click on apply. Now, once that is done, so here I have this filter, right? So in filter, I'm just giving this case when statement. Fine. So maybe I can just copy this from here, and I can give the heading as filter. So here what I will do is, again, I will just put the custom formula. I'm sorry. 1 minute. Yeah, custom formula. Okay. And let me write over here filter. Okay. And same thing over here. And of course, this whole thing will be again the same thing, which is partition by device code. Keep editing, order by its again date. It's in descending. Okay. And the output type will be text. Fine. And I will just copy that, but I will make a few changes. So current is fine. I don't need this epoch part, because in recipe, I don't have to worry about the epoch part for sure. And here, actually, I will take first value. Okay. So this function, which is there, that is first underscore value. I will just put that function. Okay. First underscore value date. Okay. Okay. So here I have put the filter. Okay. And that's what we have done over there. And the next part is, if you see, I have put a filter, right? Filter equal to true. Filter each checkout for each device code. So I can just go for this filter. Fine. And I can just put the filter equal to true. So I have this filter where I can just select, let me check. Yeah, it is true. So I can select the true. It should give me appropriately 2 records, as you can see, right? Click on apply, and yeah, I can just change this name. So it will be calculating end date. Okay. Mhm. And here I think anyhow it's fine, filtering records. Okay. And yeah, as you can see, we are getting the result. And after that, of course, we can always put the data set name. Fine. But as you can see, the results are completely available over here. Okay. So yeah, I think that's what I just wanted to explain, like how we can get the similar result. And as you have noticed here, like we have used the first value in this particular expression for the multiple row formula, and then I've used the row number, and over here also first one, and I've used the case when statement, but we have to, it's a little bit different from the data flow which I've shown you. Okay. So yeah, that's it about this video. Please definitely do like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, let's meet very soon in our next video. Thank you.